I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles, located at 204 East McGalley Road in Muncie and on eBay as well. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit. Hey, what is up, y'all? This is Aster +3 TCG, and I'm coming at y'all with a deck profile today. We are going to be taking a look at Fur Hires, and we still don't have the Link Monster yet. I'm pretty sure that's coming out in Flood, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's coming out in... No, not Soul Fusion. Yeah, Soul Fusion. That's the card. That's the pack it's coming out in. So until then, we gotta work with what we got, and it is still pretty fun to play. The deck does swarm out quite a bit, and without further ado, let's hop right into the profile, y'all. So we are playing, of course, 3-beat. Kind of standard, I would say, because this I wouldn't say this is a starter card, because if you don't open another for hire, then summoning it is kind of worthless. But they all have the little special effect where during your main phase you can special summon a monster for hire from your hand, except the one that you are activating. So you can't summon a beat with a beat. And then they all have effects when for hire monsters are special summoned. This one allows you to add any for hire monster from deck to hand. And we're playing 3 Helmer. Helmer does the same thing and special summons one from your hand. And then when you do special summon for hire from your hand, you can pitch a for hire and then draw a card. And that goes great in unison with Seal, because Seal, when you special summon a for hire while this card is on the field, you can add a for hire monster from your graveyard to your hand. So these 3 in unison with an additional extender kind of allow you to loop stuff. So you can like add a, what do I want to say? So if you open all 3 of these, you can add like a beat, or with beat you can add a Raphael or a Wiz to your hand, usually Raphael because it's an additional extender. You can draw cards with Helmer and then add it back, add the card you pitched with Seal, and then you can summon the card back that you added. If that all makes sense. You can swarm the board with 4 monsters. I'm playing 2 Bravo because Bravo's not as important. It's just another name card, and it allows you to extend for damage because it gives everything 500 boost. And turn 1 though, not the greatest, so that's why we're only playing 2. Same thing with Recon. Recon just allows you to pop cards, specifically set cards, and it's not just set back row, it's set anything. So if you have a set monster to get through, you can go ahead and pop it with Recon. And then Donpa allows you to pop face-up cards. Then we're playing 2 of this boss monster, Wiz. This is the Spell and Trap Negator. You don't really want to see this one as much because it only gives you life points when it's special summoned. It doesn't extend your plays as much. Like Raphael. Raphael is probably another one of the best ones because you control a lot of them. Like that play I was just talking about where you summon 4 monsters, you can mill 3 and then add one of those cards to your hand. And then as well as it's a monster negator by just discarding a for hire from your hand. Then we're playing 3 Ash and then 2 Infinite Impermanence for 5 hand traps. We're drawing a lot of cards in this deck because you can swarm the field and then summon Saryuja to be able to draw into your traps since you're trying to go first in this deck. And then we're playing the Saki one-ofs. Rhoda. Rhoda is integral in this deck because Beat is a warrior. Monster Reborn and Soul Charge are great because, like I said, you can link spam, draw cards with Saryuja, and then hopefully you draw into either Soul Charge, Monster Reborn, or one of 3 of these. Mayhem for hire. You can target a monster for hire in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. So that is very relevant. So we're playing 5 revival spells, and it's likely we're going to see one of these if we're drawing a bunch of cards with Saryuja. And if not, we always have 3 Pot of Desires to help mitigate that. If we're not drawing cards, we can always activate Pot of Desires. And then to wrap up the spells, we're playing 2 Call by the Grave. It's not as important because we're not searching a ton in this deck. We've got Beat, and then we've got Raphael as far as searching and milling goes, but beyond that, we're not doing too much outside of Helmer, I guess. And then for our traps, we are playing a Solemn Brigade, 2 Strike, a Judgment, and a Warning. Like I said, we're drawing a lot of cards, so it is pretty easy to get into these once you get your plays rolling. The only problem is you have to have a lot of for hires on the board to really make this combo relevant, to where you're drawing a lot of cards. So that's why we're playing so many names. And then once we get the for hire link monster, everything will be all right. But until then, we're working with what we got. Playing one Boral Sword because this allows you to OTK, and a deck that already can OTK outside of their extra deck, this just helps push that just a bit farther. And then Borreload to get over any problem monsters or opponent's Borreload. Firewall because you can link with this, or you can make this and then link a Cerberus or a Phoenix next to it, ideally. Or if you open Soul Charge, you can open, and you can crazy your combo. Saryuja, like I said, this card is amazing, allowing us to draw cards and special one of the fur hires that we have in our hand. Then we have Griffin. Griffin doesn't see a lot of play anymore because its Floodgate-like effect isn't the greatest. However, it is a combo card in this deck. You can link away all the stuff, and then if you just so happen to use Mayhem for hire, you can summon this, pitch a card, and then reset that Mayhem so that you can activate it either on their standby phase or in response to something. You can activate that quick play revival spell, and that's just one way that you can combo off with Griffin. Then we're playing Deco Talker just for the link space, and then the fact that you can push for game because it gets big. Top Logic Trisbania for back row decks helps a lot. Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus are just there for the spot removal. You're not really playing these to like extra link or anything. You're just trying to remove cards with the Nightmares. And then Mermaid. Mermaid's is there in case you need something to point down, or if they give you Ibly, just something to play with. And then Pentastag. Pentastag allows your linked monsters to do piercing, which is good for going for game. And then Underclock Taker allows to push for game as well. You all know what that effect does. And then these are my rank 4s. Now, the extra deck space is obviously pretty loose. You don't necessarily need to play these cards, but the fact that you can end in some Floodgate monster or spot removal, I think is relevant. You could also replace these with rank 3s, I guess, because we are playing more level 3s. Just that we want those level 3s on the board. But if you do need to get rid of stuff, hey, do what you got to do. You can play rank 3s like I said, or you can just go ahead and stick with this list. Let me know down in the comments section below what you think about the ratios and whatnot. And this is Alex from Plus 3 TCG. Signing out, y'all.